Hi guys, and welcome to another Divi video. This is Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Well, we've got another little hover effect for you today, and there's no plugins needed for this. This is just using all the regular modules that come with a fantastic Divi theme. We've got a hero section here with a little icon and a title. When we hover over it, it's going to change color, and some text and a call to action is going to pop up. There we go. Really easy to do, so let's get started. There's no coding for this today, we're just doing it with the inbuilt features. So first thing I'm going to do is enable my Visual Builder, and I'll go down and I'll delete this whole section here, and we'll start from scratch. Okay, let's add a new section, little blue button there. I'll make it a regular section. And inside I'm going to put a single row, single column. And this is going to be our title. I'm going to use a blurb for this. Simply we can put an icon in, or of course you can put a logo in as an image rather than an icon if you wish, which would work well for this. So for the title, I'm going to say welcome. Obviously put in whatever you want. Now I don't want any content for this because we're just going to use this for the title. So I'm going to delete the content. If I roll down a bit, there it is. Now you can choose to add an image or an icon. If you want to put a little logo in there or something rather than an icon, I'm going to use just keep it on image and upload your icon, your logo there. I'm going to use an icon just like I did earlier on. Find whatever icon's appropriate to you. There it is. Let's put it in right there. I'm not really going to style it or anything. I'll change the color of it in a little while. Okay, before we do anything else, let's just save this. I want to scoot this up to the top. So the blue tab for a row, green tab for a column, and dark tab for a module. I'm going to grab the whole section right here. I might have just called it a row by mistake, but it's a section. And pop it up the top there. Great. Okay, while we've got it in here, let's give it a background. So we're in our little section up here. I'm going to give it a background color. I'm also going to give it a background image, and I'll use the same image as I used before, which was this one. I'm going to leave it on the default settings, which are cover, center and no repeat. Obviously you can put it top or bottom, wherever you want, but cover is always a good idea because it'll cover the whole area unless you want it to repeat, if it's some kind of repeating image you've got on. Okay, background image blend. We put a color in there, so I want to blend it so it'll help make our text stand out. I'm just going to use multiply. There are all kinds of different blends you can use here, and you can really get some amazing effects by using these. I'm going to use a simple multiply, but do have a look through these. You really can get some fantastic effects. Okay, so that's our little section there. Just go back into our module here and just do what we want with it. I'm going to go design now. Image and icon, I'm simply going to turn that white. Title text, we've got no body text, and you can, when I hover over here, you'll notice the little blue circle with a brush in it. That'll take you to the design feature for whatever one you click on. And we're on the title text here, obviously. I'm going to make it bold. I'm actually going to change the font, and if you watch any other of my videos, you know Divi comes literally with hundreds and hundreds of fonts, and if you just roll over them, it'll give you an example of it. I'm going to use this one today. I want to go down. I want to make it a lot bigger. I'm going to make it white as well. Round it up to 45, and I want it to be in the middle. Great. So there's our first little title. That's going to remain there all the time. Okay, let's add another little row below this, little green tab. Again, I'm going to put a single column in. This is up to you. You can do what you wish here. And I'm going to add a call to action so we can have a nice little button and some text. Okay, and I'm going to go into this row. Now we've got our little module in there. I'm going to make this full width. So I'm going to get into the row, the green tab over there, design, sizing, width. I'm going to slide up to 100%. I'm going to copy that, Control C, and paste it in the max width just below, Control V to paste, or you can type it in, whatever works for you. We've now got a full width row in there, which is what I want. And while we're in here, I'm going to shut this up. I'm going to go to my spacing, make sure there's no padding top or bottom on my row. So I'm going to put a 0 in, just hit the chain. That will just tighten it up a little bit. Okay, let's save that. Let's go back into our module now. Like I say, I want to add a bit more content. And the button itself is not going to show up until we put a link in there. I'm going to say get tickets. Obviously you put in whatever you want for your button. Like I say, you won't see it until you put a link in there. We don't need a title for this because we're going to be using this for our title up here. And down below you'll find where to put the link for the button in here. I'll just put a hashtag in, I've got no real link. And there you can see it, we've got our button in there. Now the reason mine's purple and blue is because that's the way I've got it set up in the theme customizer. Of course you can go over to design and you can style your button any way you like here, adding different backgrounds and what have you. But I'm going to leave mine just like that. Now I'm going back to the content and the text. I'm going to add a little more content, and obviously I haven't got any real stuff, so I'm going to go over to ellipsum.com and just grab some dummy content. Going to drop down a little bit, paste it in there. There we go, we've got a lot more content in there now. My content's a little too spread out because we made it a full width row. We needed to make it a full width row because of what I've got to do in a moment. So I want to squash my content up a bit more so it comes in. So let's go over to design. I'm going to go down to spacing. And in padding, left and right, let's try giving it 20% maybe. Yeah, I think that'll work fine. That's great. But let's just check it on mobile and tablet. So I'm going to roll over where it says padding there. Going to hit the little cell phone icon. Going to check it on tablet. Yeah, it's a little too much on tablet, so I'm going to say 10% on tablet. That's fine. And let's just check it on cell. That actually works fine on the cell. So we've got 20 on desktop, 10 on tablet and mobile. Okay, now I'm going to give it a bit of padding on the top to give it space for our little title up there. So on the top, I'm going to give it, I'll try 30%, that may be too, well, let's try 20%. Yeah, that's probably too much for desktop. Let's give it 10%. Yeah, that'll work out. And I want to make sure that I've got padding on the right side as well because it's over to one side here, I've just noticed. So just hit the little chain, that'll pop it in the middle. Great. So now what we're going to do, we're going to scoot this whole thing up so it comes up here. And the reason we're doing this is so that when we hover over it up here, we can make this appear and disappear. So top, I'm going to give it a negative margin, or a margin on top of negative 10%. I mean, it doesn't have to be exactly the same, but it's a good idea. So I'm going to say negative 10%. As you can see, that's scooted that up there nicely. So when they get to about here, that'll work. We can actually up it if you want to do it a little bit more. Say 15, maybe too much. And then we'll up it to 15% here. Yeah, I think that might even be better. So we'll leave that at 15. But again, let's check it. What I'll do is I'll go to the content, to the background. I'm going to take the opacity down. The reason I'm leaving this background in is because it lets us see exactly what's going on and where it is. So I'm going to take the opacity down so we can see our title through there a little bit. Yeah, that's going to work absolutely perfectly. Okay, let's go back to our spacing. Still in the call to action module here. And let's just check it on tablet and mobile. Again, we've got a little icon checked. There's desktop, tablet. Make sure we got 10 both sides on that, keep it central. And margin tops, okay. I think we need to up it a little bit here. Let's say 20%. And we'll up this to 20% too. We could even do 30%, I think, just to make sure when they tap over here it's going to work on tablet. We've got too much gap up there, so let's give this 30%, and we'll make this 30% also. There we go, that's going to cover it nicely, and it's going to be in the right position, so when they tap on this on a tablet, that will appear once we do our hover effect. That's great. Okay, and just check it on mobile. And again, we probably need to go up a little bit more. So let's do, could go crazy and try 50%. And then obviously we'll up this to 50% on mobile too. Because the actual percentage is showing the percentage of the actual screen size there. Okay, well let's do 60%. Yeah, I think that'll be fine. So if they tap anywhere around here, that'll pop in for us. Now, of course, you can disable the effect we're going to do on phone or tablet if you don't want to have it. That's going to work fine. So we've got 60 on mobile, and we want to make sure this is correct, and 30 on tablet. Perfect. And then minus 15 on desktop. Great. Okay, so we're happy now. Things are going to work out on all devices. Let's go back to our content. We can take that background away totally. There we go. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the actual row that's containing this here. And if you have trouble because we've scooted things up on top of each other, hit the little purple button. And we can go over to wireframe mode, which is this little icon here over to the left. And you can go into the row this way. And this is our call to action. This is the one we want to affect. I'm going to go in there to design and filters. I'm going to go down to opacity. I'm going to hover over where it says opacity there, hit the little arrow. On desktop or non-hover state, when the mouse is not on it or people not clicking on it, I want to have it invisible. So I'm going to take the opacity all the way down to 0. When they hover over it, I want it to be fully visible. So I'm going to take it back up to 100%. And you can flip back to desktop view if you want to see what's going on here. So as you can see, it's not there. When we hover over it, it's going to appear like that. Now the time it takes to actually do this, you can slow it down. I like to slow it down for a bit of drama. So if you go to advanced and transitions, transition duration, I'm going to take mine up to almost a second or around about a second. And it's in milliseconds there. Anywhere around there. And the speed curve I like to use, they're all subtly different. Some will work better than others in certain situations. I like to use the ease in and ease out for these hover effects. It seems to work nicely for me, so it sort of eases in and then it'll ease back out when you take your mouse on it, off of it rather. Okay, so we should be good to go. If we go back to our filters, what I was saying before, if you don't want this effect on tablet and mobile, go down to your opacity where we were before, and there's the little phone icon, and you can simply desktop, we'll leave it as it is, tablet, just turn it off when you're on hover, just set everything to 100% on tablet and mobile, and then it'll be there all the time. but I'm going to leave that. That's fine for me. One last thing that I want to do here is I want the whole thing to change color. You know, the image in the background when we hover over it also. So to do that, I'm going to go into my section, blue tab. Remember, we put a background color and an image in there. I'm going to go up the dark writing that says background there. I'm going to click on the little arrow. So we've got a blue color when we're not hovering over it. I'm going to give it a purple color when we are. So it's going to be that color when we're hovering over it, and this color when we're not. And again, I'm going to go over to advanced and set it to a similar sort of speed. Don't have to be the same if you don't want to, but I'm going to have mine fairly similar to what we had on our call to action module, which was around about a second. And then ease in, ease out. So we should be good to go now. Let's save our draft or publish if you're ready. Exit the visual builder. There we go. We've got our little icon and our heading there. When I hover over it, it's going to turn purple. And we've got our little call to action button there. When I get off of it, it's going to take about a second to roll out. Change color again. And that's a nice little feature to have on your site. Now, I don't know if you noticed, there's one slight little thing here. If I go over the top, it's actually working great there, but from the bottom, our little call to action isn't coming in until we get to about here. That's because the section itself, the blue tab, has got a bit of padding on it. If you want to prevent that, just take that little bit of padding away. So there you go, guys. There's a full width little hero section hover effect with call to action button. I hope you've enjoyed this today and found it useful. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, comment, share, ring the bell, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Once again, this has been Jamie with System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.